Hi folks, my name is Brad. Welcome to my living room. Today I wanted to do a video that I think many of you, if you're like me, who like cars, probably would be interested in. Because no doubt at one point in your life you thought, hey, you know what's been missing in my life? Of all the cars I've driven, I have yet to have an awesome, nice little two-seater convertible that would just not cost me an arm and a leg. So I had a similar thought. It's actually 12 years ago now. It's certainly not my first two-seat convertible, but I wanted to do this video to strongly encourage any of you who are thinking of buying one to please go ahead and do it. And that, of course, is my 2002 Honda S2000, an AP1 for all of those folks who know what that is. I've had this car, like I said, for 12 years. I bought it, it was a few years old, had about 56,000 kilometers on it. I'm from Canada, so everything's in kilometers. And I now have just shy of 180,000 K. I've driven this thing hard. I think I'm a decent driver. I heel and toe. I'll do a video on that too in the future, perhaps. If you guys are interested, please let me know. I don't abuse it, but I certainly hit it hard. The rev limiter and I are in very good terms. It's just such a great car, and the downsides have been so minimal that I strongly encourage you. If you have the dollar bills to go beyond the Miata, which is also a great car, strongly recommend you getting one of these things. Being a responsible, quasi-responsible adult, I've had many reliable, practical cars, and even they were not as bulletproof as this beautiful S2000 I have. It's a little worse for wear. We'll see. I'll take you guys outside and you can have a look. We'll go for a drive and all the rest of that. But to begin with, I wanted to at least say this is what I'm looking to do. I want you folks to feel free to ask me any questions you have, actually, because not anyone that I've actually come across on the internet has had an S2000 for as long as I have. If you have, great. I'd love to hear from you too. What problems you've had and all the rest of that. But in 130,000 kilometers. Honestly, this thing's had practically nothing go wrong with it. It's never left me by the side of the road. I've been in 2 major accidents with it too, so not that I'm saying that I owe it my life, but I certainly owe it a lot. There's just so much you can do with these things, and you can drive them. You can drive them in the winter. It's not just a 3-season car. I've certainly taken mine. I bought winters for it the first year I had it. It's been able to be retired from daily in the winter for quite a while now, 4 or 5 years. But don't shy away from that either. And I'll even point out a couple of gotchas that you might want to look out for when it comes to if you want to keep one of those things for a while. Because, regrettably, because I've driven it everywhere and in so many things, there's a little bit of rust showing up, which I'll show you folks. And predominantly that comes from the fact that Asian cars, certainly the Hondas and some Subarus, by the way, they bolt in a fender liner and they start to rust around that screw. So if you have those damn things in your car, take them out, because then it'll prolong that. It'll stave off the risk of the rust showing up right there. So anyway, once again, Brad Fillo here. I'm going to take you out and walk you through my car. And there we have it. As you can see, it's the I think it's Spa Blue. In fact, I'm sure it is. I should know that after having it for so long. Stock wheels, stock everything, frankly, with the exception of the first thing I did. Honda makes great cars, but they do 2 things that I'm not particularly fond of. One is they tend to underbrake the cars. If you've had any German cars, you know how solid that pedal feels and how just confidence inspiring, frankly, is what it is. So the first thing I did for the street, again, this isn't a track car, so for the street, brake performance is all about pad choice, tires, obviously, and I put the stainless lines on it. It's one of the first things I did, just to firm that pedal up and to give you that really solid, firm, solid braking. Again, ABS means you don't have to worry too much about feel, even though that's important, but the stainless lines, honestly, and a decent set of trackable street pads from Hawk, those are the ones I use, and they're solid. They do tend to eat your rotors a little bit, and they tend to be a little noisy and dusty, but hey, you know what? Yes, that's a small trade-off. So I'll take you through that too in a bit, but the most important thing that I've done in order to make this car my own, and you can see once we get down low enough, keys in it, so it's gonna beep at me. Here we go. Again, cars, these things are fantastic. The only drawback is, oh, that's not good. I don't have a video there. Where was I? I was just about to get into the car here. again, Honda makes great cars. They tend to be a little under-braked, so I told you what I did with the brakes. The second thing I did in order to tailor this car for me so I can heel and tow is I spent, it was $100, big deal, to get the throttle pedal made so I can properly heel and tow. And obviously even in this light, you can see how much I've worn that section off simply doing that. I'll do a video later on showing how I do that. Heel and tow is nothing you can't look up on your own. I actually do double clutch heel and towing just because I'm a little older, and that's how I learned on some old race cars actually, which is interesting because if cars don't have a synchro or synchros in the gearbox, you need to be able to do that. So again, best $100 you can spend. The pedal, when you hit it hard, is pretty much right in line with that, so you can easily blip the throttle when you need to. And beyond that, you can see I put a slightly different gear shift knob in. The other one's getting pretty worn out. Again, after 180,000 kilometers, I replaced the aluminum one it came with, not the titanium, with a presumably titanium gear shift knob. It certainly weighs way less, and you know, at least it's new looking. So otherwise, there you go, stock AP1. An 02, like I say, it's got the glass rear window in the top, same top, original top. It's a little worse for wear, it's got a tear in it, but it's hardly up anyway, so it's fine. And then what I also did is, and I'll show you these guys, or I'll show you these with in a better video where I'm actually driving, is the NVIDIA stainless exhaust. Again, this thing is, it's so rev happy. The throttle makes it super easy to heel and tow. The revs make it a joy. And when you stand on this thing, man, is it fun. So anyway, more detail than you wanted. Again, my name is Brad. Thanks for sticking with me for the tour of my car. And I will follow this one with some video of me actually in the car, just beating on this thing, man. It's awesome. You know, they just don't go wrong. They just don't go wrong. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me. Talk to you guys later. Hey folks, Brad here again. Going for a nice rip on a beautiful evening here where I live. As I mentioned before in previous videos, one of the first things I did for this car was to put, oh watch out Bert, was to have a throttle pedal cover, really, custom made so that I could properly heel and tow. Hondas are fantastic cars, but regrettably I have yet to be in one. I haven't been in all of them, so apologies if you have one, but I've yet to be in one that actually can heel and tow really well right from the factory. So see the previous video where I talk about the mod that I did there. Really simple. Had to have someone make it for me though, because I don't have a metal, not easily set up to cut up a lot of aluminum. But anyway, the other thing you'll notice though is my my wicked NVIDIA exhaust, which is got to be, let's see, what would it say, about 8 or 9 years old. Obviously it's stainless, so it sounds great. Won't corrode. It'll always sound this good as long as I don't bounce it off of something and you know, end up putting a hole in it somehow. At the end of the day, the exhaust, the pedals, the free revving motor, honestly, it's a heel and tow dream. It's you don't even have to be going that fast. Just you know, pick some roads, you know, some good second, third gear corners, fourth even. Doesn't have to be that much. Just enjoy how smooth everything is, how easy it is to downshift. I even double clutch downshift, which I'll bore you folks later if anyone wants to know about the difference and obviously why I do that. Certainly I'm not the only one to ever do that, but you know, my reasons are my reasons ultimately, same as anyone else. Just want to know how to do it absolutely properly. Anyway, enjoy the ride. I'm going through a playground zone. I got to go a little slow here, but I'll give it some good boot here in a minute. Man, what a beautiful day. Just love this city in this summertime. It's 29th of July. You know, where I live here, it'll be light for hours. Yeah, it's beautiful. Perfect climate. 3 seasons of the year to own a car like this. See, not even into VTEC, don't need to, and it's just smooth, buttery smooth, easy, sounds good. Nice long sweeping corner. I have the privilege of living next to a national park. It's in the city I live, so drive along here, sun's out with a park, mountains in the distance. See, nice smooth. Just love it. Don't know how much footage of this I'll use. Talking a lot. for a car guy who wants to showcase his car, I sure spend a lot of time talking. Once I pull over here, I'll show you guys some of the beauty of what I get the pleasure of living against, or living near rather. Listen to that, not even high revs. And double clutch downshift into third, second, and the trickiest of all, first. Oh, look at that, smooth as butter. Nice. Hey folks, here I am again. This time I'm about to demonstrate the beauty of revving the hell out of this thing. Man, it sounds good. People say it's like you gotta drive it like you ride a sport bike. They're not that wrong, to be honest. Okay, here we go. Hopefully you won't witness me getting a speeding ticket. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah, there we go. Who doesn't love that? Man, this thing's fantastic. 12 years I've owned this thing and I don't get tired of that, not one bit. Not one bit. You know, you talk about a car that has pluses and minuses, and this thing really has hardly any minuses. Of all my reliable cars, all my practical cars, this thing has been better and more bulletproof than all of them. It doesn't even have a timing belt to worry about like you used to have to in the cars in the 90s and well, 90s I guess, this is in early 2000. It's fantastic. You know, other than brakes and a little bit of oil here and there, the only thing I've had to do is the typical timing chain tensioner. I think I'm on my third one, to be honest, but you know what? I've since learned the best way to do that, to fix that, is not to actually replace them. Take out the one you have, and you can actually rough up the worm gear that sits inside it. It gets a little smooth and then it won't hold oil, and that's the reason why it starts to rattle. So instead of spending a couple $100 or so, whatever it usually is, I simply just take the thing out every 3 or 4 years. Frankly, this is on my 4th and it hasn't started rattling yet. That's after buying it. Let's see, I'll edit this out, but that's 6 years. 2 years I bought it. It started rattling again, and I took it apart, sanded it down, cleaned it off, obviously, put it all back together. It's pretty simple. For those of you that are interested, you know, comment below, and then I'll be happy to actually do a demo of it. It's so easy. I'll do it again, even though this thing doesn't need it. It's that simple. And don't be afraid of it. Hey everyone, well that concludes my video, at least to start with. Pretty introductory, obviously, just a slight walk around the car, a little bit of footage in it, you know, just to get a taste of it. Certainly I'll do more. I'll do some editing of this one too, perhaps, probably need to. Really, again, encourage anyone who thinks that they want to buy one of these things. They're just great. They're just great. Like I said, there's no major headaches with them. Timing chain tensioners, again, I'll happily do a video on that. Again, it's so easy, frankly, that I'm willing to take it out and show you just because I can. There's no harm in that. As they get a little older though, you know, I think frankly they're called differential carrier bushings. They're fluid filled, they're at the back. I'll show you that. I'm going to do a video of that too, because I'm ultimately going to take them out. You know, after 15 years, I think there's a little play there. Maybe I'm just being ridiculous. Maybe I just need to check my tire pressures, which I do pretty regularly anyway. But I'm going to give that a shot. And then after 180,000 K, like I say, I think I'm due for a clutch. And that's the original clutch, by the way. So I think I've done pretty well. Again, like I say, heel and toe to make sure that everything's smooth. I do slide the thing around. I do, as I say, make good use of the rev limiter. Who couldn't? You didn't buy a car like that to drive it like a Cadillac. Anyway, again, it's a pretty much bulletproof car. They've never had a failure on the VTEC systems as far as I've ever encountered. As well, just a small shout out to the folks at Speed Academy. They won't know who I am, but I've watched them when they do some of the work on their cars, and they've actually given me the confidence rather to actually take the motor at the bottom of the S and do the clutch. So done lots of clutches before, not on this car obviously. I would have had a slightly different approach, so I'm glad they actually did that for me. So thanks PT, I think that's your name, you guys are great. Check them out, speed.academy. They've been really helpful, and I can nothing but good things to say for those guys. Anyway, that's kind of the end of this one. Just wanted to say hi. It's my first video, frankly. I'm such a car guy that I think I'll do this more. I've got access to so many cool cars around me that I love, so why the heck wouldn't I share that? Anyway, you know, please be kind. First video, it's great. Comments below, any questions at all, honestly. I've had the thing for so long. Maybe with the map sensor, because that can rear its ugly head a little bit, nothing serious. Exhaust that you might like. Hardtops, you know, bushings, anything, suspension, whatever you want. I've obviously been paying attention to this thing for years, and on the blogs, on the catalogs, everything. So if you haven't found it already and you would think you have a question I might be able to answer, please feel free. I'm happy to help. I like to do that stuff. So anyway, thanks for sticking with me. I look forward to doing other videos, and I hope you guys like this one. You folks like this one. Thanks. Signing off. Take care.